the Alfred Music and Make Music booth at Midwest with Chris Thomas. So you've composed in a variety of scenarios, film, TV show, theme parks, you're with Make Music Publications now. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, I think they all serve different parts of my soul. When I started into music, it was just film, and I thought that was all I wanted until I had an opportunity to work on theme parks and realized just how magical and fun those were. And then when I got into this, I realized when I first saw the first handful of pieces I ever published for strings come out, I saw the YouTube videos just 1,000 deep, of kids sharing their practice videos. Like, I'm learning my second violin two-part. They're playing open strings for 5 minutes, But I realized in this business with the publishing, it was really being in the business of legacy music. And it was a chance to inspire and help teach another generation. So this has become a really important part of my life too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So theme parks, because
Theme parks.
that's just a fascinating subject to write music for. What's that like? Are there different considerations when you're composing that you would consider when you're working on a piece for an orchestra or a piece for a film?
Yeah, so like compared to like publishing to theme parks or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the publishing and concert music world, you have time to write a commission, you're writing for the group. And that commissions you, and you take their ability into account, and you're mostly just serving one goal for the performance. But with a theme park, you have to humble yourself in service of the story, of the ride, and the immersive, magical experience. And so, like with film theme parks, whatever you want to do as a composer doesn't mean anything. You start with the objectives of the story and the experience, and then everything grows from that, whether you even like the direction or not. So to be very professional in that side of the business. Yeah.
What sorts of parks have you written music for?
Oh, I've worked with Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, Dreamland in England. I used to do a lot of music for the Evermore Adventure Park in Utah, and just everything in between, large and small. So yeah.
Very cool. So more on just your composition process in general, any sort of project. Have you ever experienced writer's block?
Oh, constantly. I have a commission right now that I'm terrifyingly behind on, and more directionless than I'm used to. I've tried to take a few compositional risks, and it's led me into this dark forest of just no senses. There's no moon or stars to guide me through this one, and I'm just hoping. I threw this bucket down the well, and I'm hoping I'm going to hit water soon. But this happens, and I have some solutions for it. Whether it's film or anything else, the minute I get out on a hiking trail somewhere, get out of the sound and the noise and the distractions, and because I can't really write music in front of a screen, so I have to let ideas come to me other places. Then I come back to the computer and put them down once it's ready. But the minute I can get outside and hike for 10 or 15 minutes. Solutions just pop into my head, and then I just sing into my phone and try to capture everything I can. So I find the outdoors is my solution to writer's block.
Awesome. So do you find when you're composing, then you normally start with like an idea or a feeling and then kind of turn it into a melody, or do you take the melody first and then kind of develop around it?
Yeah, it shows up differently every time. Some people seem to have a pattern. I've met some composers who say, oh, it's always melodically driven. I hear these contours, I capture them, and some, it's like I write 10 minutes of harmonic progressions, at the piano, and then I infuse an intuitive melody into it. But I think they're rarer than not. For a lot of us, it's just stuff shows up in whatever form, like whatever forensic evidence we're given, we'll just take, and then we just go from there. And for me, it's just a chaotic scatter. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any big influences, composers who've kind of guided your style and process through the years?
Yeah, well, when I was growing up, I was very inspired by Beethoven. It was the reason I kept practicing. But then I loved, John Williams and all the other film composers as well, because they inspired me to go into cinema. But over the years, I think some of the quirkier composers, the Nino Rotas, Bernard Herrmanns, Danny Elfmans, resonate more with my own style. And and I always found there's a lot of Americana in my music. I think it might be because I grew up in farm country, and just around a lot of gospel and Irish fiddle music. But I think a lot of the like great modern American composers I've realized are infusing into my work, and my concert music is reflecting more Americana all the time, and I don't know why, but that's just where it's going. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then just one last, any advice for young musicians, young composers looking to break their way into the industry?
Oh, there's so much I would like to talk about
We
there.
could just do another hour of just that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, it's hard to pick the most important, but I think the one I'm picking is because it's a pattern I'm noticing, and I'm noticing it really killing the careers of young composers faster and faster, which is young composers tend to conform more and more to fads and trends in a really deep way. This is kind of, especially in like film music, you know, like there's this homogenizing of sound where everyone is expected to write the same way, same key, same pattern, same everything. And songwriters are just thinking if they don't become Taylor Swift or Beyonce or conform to those styles, there's nothing in their future for them. But the truth is, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, once you conform to a mass trend that anybody can figure out how to replicate, then you fall into this stream of just mass invisibility where
It's a very crowded field in that one little
it becomes
spot,
crowded. Yeah. And it's like, and as a composer, you're just replaceable by someone who does a job $1 cheaper than you if you can get the same result. And so the best thing I ever did for my career was just lean into my own weird musical past. Like, what are the things I understand and work with the best, and just fuse them into one direction so there's a singular sound that you're not going to win everybody, but the ones who really like resonate with what you do will be loyal for life.
Yeah.
And you need a strong following, not just a mass appeal. And so long-term survival really does depend on you finding your own way in. And everyone's lives walk really specific paths and leave them with very unique influences, and you have to find your own, or there's a very little chance of long-term survival. Yeah.
Great. Thanks so much for chatting with us today.
Yeah, certainly. I appreciate it.